Welcome to the Run It Back podcast, where we run back everything from the 80s and 90s. I'm Jason.
I'm Sarah.
And today we're running back Little Giants from 1994.
This one was your pick.
Yeah, you didn't seem too happy throughout the whole movie.
Okay, so here's the thing. I really thought I had seen this movie. Upon watching it this evening, I do not believe I've seen this movie. I feel like it would have stuck with me more.
So you don't think you've seen this movie ever at all?
No, and at no point was it like, oh yeah, I remember this, or this is coming back to me. And like...
Do you remember Icebox?
I identified with a little bit of this movie. I feel like it would have stuck with me more than it... So yeah, I don't think I've actually ever seen this movie.
Wow, how did you get through life not seeing this movie?
I don't know. I would have sworn on a Bible this afternoon that I had, of course, seen this movie, but yeah, none of it was familiar to me. As you noticed with my outrage and the fact that I needed you to pause it at one point so I could take a deep breath.
Was it mostly the girls can't do shit vibe?
It was a whole lot of the double-decker douche sandwich of an uncle, yeah.
Well, he was weird, right?
No, he was a piece of shit.
Agreed. But every now and then he had like it was like he thought he was doing the right thing for people. Half of the things that he thought was doing the right thing was just him trying to move himself along. But every now and then he had one or two redeeming moments throughout the whole thing. Do you not agree that he had one or two kind of redeeming events?
One or two. And that was it.
So getting into the movie, or anything else you want to say before?
No. So the movie opens... I'm going to let you do most of the heavy lifting, but it opens where they've had, like, the X's and O's football plays drawn up, right? Like, that's the beginning. And IMDb says it opens with tic-tac-toe punctuation, which just aggravated me. I was like, who has ever said that in their life? Like, it starts with football plays being drawn up.
Yeah. X's and O's.
Yeah, it really aggravated me that they called it tic-tac-toe punctuation. Like, what the fuck?
So the movie opens up on a little bit of a flashback. You're 30 years ago, at the time, you're in Urbana, Ohio, 1964. You have Kevin, which is the douchebag brother, and then Danny, which is he's...
Rick Moranis.
The main... Him and Icebox are probably considered the main character. You follow them most, right?
Sure.
So, they have a pickup football game, and Danny doesn't get picked. His brother doesn't even pick him, and he doesn't get to play. And
now, Kevin is like giant, and Danny is little and wears glasses, and they don't look like they necessarily have the same dad, or like dad ran out of that good juice after the first kid or something.
That's definitely the milkman son,
like the Watt brothers, like there's 3 of them, and they're all exceptional specimen. They've all made it to the NFL, but they get a little worse with every one.
Are you saying that old Daddy Watts nut was degraded the longer he went?
Daddy is putting out less of that good juice. There's a 4th Watt brother somewhere that they're keeping in a fucking basement, is what I'm saying.
It's like, well, the sell-by date says yesterday, so I mean, we could probably still use it.
Yeah. Like, you get JJ. JJ's the oldest.
He is the most prime specimen.
He is. And then you have these copies that are just like a little worse every time. And then there might be one in a cellar somewhere. I'm not comfortable saying that there isn't.
I know it'll never happen. But if JJ Watt ever hears this and then uses it against his brother and said, I told you guys were pieces of shit, that would make my day. On the opposite hand, if the other brother's here, they're going to be pissed.
Yeah, I'll add them for you.
Mom, was Dad's nut expired? And she's like, what the fuck?
This girl said Dad's nut wasn't good to make me. So, in all seriousness, I love the Watt brothers. They seem like very nice people. But that JJ, though, ooh.
So, while the other kids start to play their pickup game, a little girl walks up, sees Danny. She's like, hey, Danny, how you doing?
Her name is Patty.
And her name is Patty Floyd. And...
No.
I guess it's not Floyd yet, is it?
It's just Patty.
Just Patty at this time. And she says something like, aren't you going to play? He's like, no, I'm on the injured list. And he limps away.
Right.
All right, so it cuts to 30 years later, 1994, and Kevin...
Well, hold on. You're rushing it. Because Kevin, I don't know if you would call it a redeeming moment or not. I personally wouldn't. Is that he turns around to his little brother and was like, one day that water tower will say the O'Shea brothers on it. And then it cuts to the water tower 30 years later and it just says home of Kevin O'Shea on it.
Yeah. And Kevin's coaching his newly found Pee Wee football team.
Well, he's trying them out.
Yeah, trying out. And one of the kids trying out is his niece, Becky, or Icebox, whatever you want to call her.
And she's just housing motherfuckers, like
Yeah.
running over, not full-grown men, but running over kids. She flattens that one kid. They think he's dead. Looks like he has blood on his head, and it's a jelly from the PB&J he has in his helmet.
Yeah. They call that kid Lunchbox?
He said, Kevin said, you're never going to be anything if you don't stop using your helmet as a lunchbox. He had Cheetos in there, and he was like, are they puffed or crunchy? The assistant coach was like, they're puffs. He's like, you wimp.
Well, they go through tryouts, and
They're just generally giving her shit because she's a girl like the other people.
the other kids start making fun of her. She grabs one of them, puts him in a headlock. That's when her dad shows up, Danny. He's like, put him down. Put him down. And she just kind of throws him to the ground.
I'm thinking it's not the first time he had to tell her to put a kid down, right?
No, he didn't look panicked at all. He was just like, put him down. Danny talks to Kevin's wife. Is it Karen?
Yeah, of course it is.
And he's like, how's she doing? And she said, she's the best one out there.
Right.
So they're fully expecting her to make the team, but when the time comes to it, Uncle Kevin does not pick. She doesn't make the team. It surprises both Karen and Danny, and all the other misfits don't make the team either.
I mean, that wasn't really a surprise, but...
No. Especially like the one kid, the kid that had the peanut butter jelly in his hat when they were doing the 40s.
Mm-hmm.
In his hat, in his helmet. After the other kid done ran by and he called his brother, he's like, how'd I do? He's like, I don't know, kid. I don't have a sundial.
Yeah. Poor kid.
So Danny confronts his brother Kevin about Icebox not making the team. Kevin is a big old douchebag.
He says, this might come as a surprise to you, but she's a girl. If you start treating her like a girl, she'd start acting like one.
Yeah. That's probably your first big-eyed.
Yeah, what a douche.
So then it shows Karen talking to Kevin about the whole thing.
They're at the dinner table.
And he pretty much does the same shit.
She 100% has her back. She says, you know she was the best one on the team, and I can't believe you didn't pick her. And he says, you're right. I think Becky and any other girl that wants to should be able to participate. And he turns to his daughter, Debbie, and was like, I want you to call all your friends and tell them I need spirit. I need cheerleaders. Call them all up. Yeah. And Karen is just like, this fucking asshole.
Then it shows Danny talking to his daughter, Icebox, that you kind of learn that
her mom's
their mom
piece of shit.
Left.
He says, do you remember when Mom said she had to do what was best for her, but she kind of made a decision for us too, because then she left? Like, how do you look your husband and your kid in the face and be like, yeah, I have to do what's best for me, so good fucking luck?
I feel like those people are trash people, and
it's fucking rough. That was rough.
But so you kind of learn that why Icebox is the way she is. She's basically been raised by her dad who doesn't know what girls do.
Right.
Or it could just be the other way around. Icebox just gravitated towards things her dad did, so she likes more of what boys do, like the whole go-karts thing, bikes.
Right.
Is that where he says, if I had a team, I would pick you?
Yes.
And then later on, the kids kind of mention making their own team. And Icebox kind of goes through with it without telling her dad.
Right. What did you say that kid's name was? Rashid?
Hayden. His last name's Hayden. They're all sitting in the shed out back of the gas station that her dad runs. All the misfit kids. And he was like, there goes my shot at the pros. Now I'll just have to be a senator.
Yeah, I want half the confidence that little kid has.
Especially because he's the kid, he can't catch anything.
Right.
At all. And he doesn't catch anything until later in the movie when they're in the grocery store and old Junior throws him toilet paper.
Right.
He catches the fuck out of some toilet paper, but he cannot catch a football.
So she's pretty much worked up that they're going to start a team, and she's gathering...
Hold on. Well, a bunch of the kids that made the team show up and kind of just to make fun of the misfit kids.
Right.
They're giving them wedgies and shit, and you hear the go-kart revving up coming around the corner, and they all yell icebox, and they try to run, and she fucking, like, one by one runs them off their bikes and wrecks them with the go-kart. She's in a motor vehicle wrecking these little kids.
Yeah, she is. Got the skull and crossbones on her helmet, but she knocks one of them into a lake, and she tells him they're going to start their own team. So they were like, who's going to coach it? She's like, my dad.
So she peels out.
She starts this whole thing without her dad ever knowing, which is just funny.
She peels out, and it cuts to Uncle Kevin telling a football story to these old men at this diner.
Yeah, reliving, but also exaggerating his glory days.
Yeah, because they're all disputing, like, how much time was up in the clock. I thought it was 4 seconds. He's like, no, it was 2.
Yeah.
All this
He
stuff.
gets up and leaves there like, it was definitely 4.
Well, the mayor comes in and like, hey, I need to talk to you for a minute. And
he says, I have a turd in the punch bowl.
Yeah. Basically, he's got word that there are now 2 teams forming for this Pee Wee League. The town can only have 1. And he's like, well, who's coaching the other one? And he was like, Danny's walking in the door of the diner, and the mayor's looking at him, and he's like, motherfucker. So Danny walks up to the diner not knowing anything about this, and Kevin's like, you trying to make me look stupid?
Well,
oh yeah.
Icebox sees everything going on, and she's like, so we're starting a Pee Wee football team and you're coaching, okay, love you, bye, and kisses him.
She doesn't tell him he's coaching.
Oh.
She's like, we're starting our own team, and she runs out and just stands outside the window.
Yeah, kisses him and stands outside and watches.
He's a little bit confused, but Kevin walks up. And just like, you trying to make me look stupid? And then starts talking shit. And that's what really drove. As Kevin's talking shit, Danny turns around, looks at the window, and he sees Icebox and the other kids, and they're kind of like motioning like, please, please, please. And he's like, you know what, motherfucker? I hate everything about you.
Yeah. He was like, look, I just heard of this myself. It's silly. Like, he was trying to play it down like he wasn't going to do it. And then he just keeps talking shit, and he was like, I can't help, you're no good. And he starts talking about how Einstein couldn't complete a pass, but, invented this stuff, and you can do anything you want with these kids, it's just not going to be football. Yeah, and he lost his shit. He was like, I always hated your ass.
He's like, so let me get this straight. I can do something with the kids, but not football. He's like, I can't do that. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, well, fuck you. I hate everything about it. I hate your way.
Yeah. He says, the town can only have 1 team, though, so the old-timers at the table suggest they have a playoff.
Which is great. And the old-timers, it's funny, because they are constantly bickering amongst each other, but they're also, like, eventually they bet on this game. And one of them's like, I'll sweep the shop for 3 weeks. The Giants are going to win. And the guy's like, fuck you. Like, he doesn't pick the best team. We all know they're going to win.
Yeah.
But when... later on, when like new kid moves to town, they both at the same time dueling payphone calls call the coach they want to win.
Right.
So it was like a way to keep it fair between us. But they're like fucking with the younger group of people. It's just kind of funny.
But so they decide on this playoff, and poor little Danny's like, I'll meet you at half court.
Yeah, this playoff's in 2 weeks. He's gonna get these little non-athletic kids.
His daughter screams. Daughter screams from outside, it's the 50-yard line! So you say maybe she was just interested in the stuff he was interested in, but I don't think he was that interested in football. Or he wouldn't have said, meet me at half court.
Well, I think that's how it started. Like, she doesn't, her mom's not there, she doesn't have any sisters. They seem relatively close with their uncle, and
Kevin?
then they're 2 daughters. So, I mean, she had, like, female role models a little bit. But I feel like she just gravitated towards what Dad did at first. So then she was just interested in what boys did. So then you have the montage of them. It's like it starts off with just Icebox and the main group of kids walking down the railroad tracks. And then you have little cut scenes of the kids are recruiting kids. And then Danny, his first kid he recruits is basically to help him coach.
Right.
And he just sees... this kid's dressed as a cowboy in one of those little rides outside of a grocery store. It's like, you like football? No. You want to play football? No. Okay, good. You can join our team.
Could you imagine 2020, you come out of the grocery store and some adult man is trying to recruit your child riding the hobby horse to play football? Holy shit.
They see the, what was his name? Marcus, the little Asian kid, has like the playground balls like all lined up, and he's kicking them off the wall. So he's got them all lined up, and he kicked one off the wall, breaks the glass, and he's like, nothing but glass. So, like, hey, you want to play football? And he's like, fuck it, why not? So all these kids join. Then you got Johnny, who's his dad's constantly going away in business, and I guess doesn't spend enough time with Johnny. He's disappointed. They're like, hey, this kid looks like he needs some help. He can play.
Yeah. So they have this little misfit group. Danny has, I guess, cobbled together what I'm assuming is probably his brother's old stuff from when he played, like, youth football. And he's just dumping out boxes of, like, used old-ass football equipment.
Yeah.
Well, who keeps used cups?
I guess if you wash them, like, I'm guessing back in the day they used to use their own, but when I was playing football, they were like, you need to buy your own. I could definitely see like a middle school, high school team in the 70s passing out cups.
Gross.
Yep.
But in walks a mom with a teeny tiny kid talking about how they tried for years to get pregnant and couldn't, and then she was on bed rest for 9 months, and then he was 1 pound 7 ounces when he was born, and then he spent 7 months in the NICU in an incubator.
Oh yeah, but when she got pregnant, she wouldn't even do any. Like she didn't even roll over in bed because she didn't want to lose it.
But she thinks football would be the perfect thing to help him out because his psychologist says he needs to get out more. And I was like, I don't know if any of this checks out. Like, you don't do all that and then send your kid out there to play football, right?
But she did send him that one day in like full on foam, like.
Head to toe foam padding wrapped in duct tape.
Which is actually worked against what she wanted. Because you put kids in that and they're like, oh, see if you can push me down. You can't hurt me. Like, it gets worse.
Yeah.
So then the kids see... Oh, did you cover the part where some of those are bike helmets and then
no,
a Darth Vader
there's
helmet?
A Darth Vader helmet, a bike helmet. Like, this one kid wears the Darth Vader helmet without the face mask.
All the way up until game day.
Through the whole fucking movie at every practice. And, like, all the kids are in their underwears changing into this equipment, and this mom brings this little kid in, and they're like, mom! And all run and hide.
So then a couple of kids are in, like, a local grocery store, and they see Junior's throwing toilet paper down an aisle into a buggy.
That's a shopping cart for the rest of y'all.
Fast cart is the official term. So
you're not from a buggy state.
They're like, hey, do you want to play football? But Icebox is in the next row over. She's like, and she's like, wait a minute, I don't like boys. And so she kind of fucks with her a little bit. Icebox has talked her dad into going to their house and asking his mom if Junior can play on their team.
Right.
Well, Icebox goes, Danny can kind of sense something's going on. He said, you got a crush on this kid? She's like, no, I don't get crushes.
I'm Icebox.
So she goes up to the door. She kind of peeks in the window like a creeper. And then, like...
He's, like, sitting on the couch, spinning a football.
Like, she hides to the side and is like, oh, he's so cute. And he kind of laughs. And he looks in the window and sees the mom. And he recognizes the mom as his, like, childhood crush. So he hides on the opposite side of the door.
Patty from the beginning of the movie.
Patty Floyd.
Now.
So the scene with the kid coming in with all the foams on, that kid cracks me up. And one of my memories was distorted. I really thought the kid doing the pull-ups, standing on the trash can, was Jake. But it's Tad.
I like that the kid he recruited outside of the supermarket is, like, full on wearing his little cowboy outfit to practice. Like, the cowboy boots and a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the dad hides on the other side because he's attracted to Patty. They're arguing over who's going to knock. And the daughter rings the doorbell and runs, so her dad has to deal with it. I feel like now is a good time to mention Junior is Devon Sawa.
Your childhood crush?
If you are here for now and then, this is part 2 of the Sawa saga.
The Sawa saga?
I feel old Icebox. Because Devon Sawa in the 90s was responsible for a lot of little girls that didn't like boys being like, holy fuck, I think I like boys. God damn. Also, go follow him on Twitter. His Twitter is great.
So Patty comes out to answer the door. Meanwhile, Danny is still like hiding and he's facing the other way.
It's
like he's not going to be seen.
It's like if he doesn't move, she won't see him.
And she sees him and she's like, can I help you? And then she's like, oh, Danny, how are you? And he's still up against the wall like, I'm good.
Poor guy.
So back at Little Giants practice and you see Junior throwing footballs to people. They're throwing to everybody else, and when Hayden gets up there, Danny has him switch out the football for the toilet paper, go, and Hayden catches it like a boss, whatever. He turns to the kid that's having him coach and says, here, put this in the bathroom, holding the football. Then you have the whole Icebox tackles Junior tackles Icebox, but when she tackles him, she doesn't get off of it.
He tackles her first, and she's like, oh, I think I might like this. Oh, fuck. So then the next play, she tackles him, but she doesn't move.
He's like, you can get up now.
She's like, oh, yeah, okay.
So then we get to old Coach Kev trying to, I guess, get some extra practice in at his house.
Yeah, so he has like 3 kids in his living room. He has his wife holding a couch cushion with a cardboard cutout of like a pirate on it.
It's Icebox.
I know it's Icebox, but the skull and crossbones.
Yeah.
Gotcha. He tells these kids
to go low.
To hit his niece low. He tells these kids to take out his niece's legs.
Yeah, because that's all they got is Icebox. If they take her out, they definitely win.
What a piece of garbage.
I mean, you gotta win, right?
Honest to God, piece of trash. Oh
so
my God.
The first kid runs into the cushion and his wife's carriage just holding the cushion like normal and the kid falls down. He's like, oh, come on. So he's like, I'll show you. And she's like, Kevin? And then she can tell he's gotten into this mode. And she's like, Kevin? And he's like, count it down. So he takes off. She leaves the cushion standing there as he hits it. And he hits the cushion and goes out the window, hits his nuts on the tree branch, and then falls into a pool.
Right. Now, this is juxtaposed with Danny having an adorable banquet for his kids.
It's like
in his living room.
A Little Giants team announcement
it's a banquet.
What did I call
Party.
it? Like a press event.
Kind of, yeah. He has them all like in one room, and he has a PA system set up, and he's announcing them all, and they get to do their little walk-in, and the parents are cheering. It's fucking adorable. Way cuter than what Uncle Douche Nugget's doing. So at the end, Patty and Danny are still kind of vibing on each other. They kind of linger on that handshake goodbye a little long.
So the whole incident with Kevin going through the window, one of his daughters, the youngest one, gets everything on video. So she gets it on video, and the mom and the daughters are just laughing their asses off at him.
Yeah.
What does he say to him?
He's talking about how they have to take out Icebox. It's the only thing they have, and his oldest daughter, Debbie, says, well, what about Junior? And he was like, who the fuck is Junior? So it cuts to him and the assistant coach spying in the bushes with binoculars on the Giants practice.
And the little smart kid sees him. But he doesn't point it out yet. He walks over to Danny. He was like, hey, we got spies. And him and Danny go back. He's like, okay. Well, he's like, everybody take a break. We're going to run our secret play in just a minute. And they go back and they call the state police, and he acts like an old woman. He's like, there's 2
peeping Toms watching a youth football practice and has one of the kids crying to the phone.
Yeah. He's like, and they're in their underwear.
I just don't think it's right. So it cuts to, you see the cops run up on him, but then the next day Kevin throws down the paper and it says local hero arrested. He's like, I gotta hand it to him calling the state cops instead of the local cops that would have known it was bullshit.
It's like, this is war.
Yeah, his wife was like, it's football. It's just supposed to be fun. Just playing for fun. It's like, the fun is gone. Now it's war.
So then you cut to, the Little Giants are having a car wash fundraiser, which they went real cheap on this one. The car wash was $1.
$1.
Which I feel like even in 1994, they should have at least been charging $5-10 for these car washes.
Yeah.
But all the kids are washing cars. You got the kids spraying each other. Then you got Icebox and Junior flirting a little bit.
Having a little moment. It was very cute.
And one of the
assistant douchebag
pulls up in his convertible car. He's like, why are you doing this? You're just wasting everybody's time.
We shouldn't be
Whatever.
preparing for you. We should be preparing to play the actual teams. Danny says, you know what? You're our 10th customer. You get a free car wash, and tells the kids, okay,
guys.
wash it. So they're just spraying the inside of this convertible. But then you have Debbie, who walks in her full cheerleading outfit and kind of takes Junior's attention away, and they go over and they start flirting, and it very much hurts Icebox's feelings.
Well, she talked to Icebox first. Well, I thought it was weird that Karen came to help support the little giants.
Karen has been very good throughout this whole movie.
She's like, where next? Wash the car. Well, Debbie goes over to Icebox like, I'm so jealous you get to be in the huddle with Junior Floyd.
Yeah.
He's so cute, blah, blah, blah. And Icebox playing off like,
oh yeah, I don't really care.
Notice. So it kind of gives her like, oh, well, I got free reign then. So
yeah.
she goes over and flirts with Junior, and Junior's flirting back, and she sees it. You kind of see like, this is like the beginning of the end of her football career.
Yeah. It does seem to be a problem. Cut to her at her vanity trying to put on makeup.
Yes.
And she really doesn't want Dad to see. Like, she puts on lipstick and she's looking at herself, and he starts coming through the door, and she like wipes it off real fast. And then when he asks if she has on lipstick, she's like, oh no, it was a Tootsie Roll or Tootsie Roll Pop. I think if old Icebox would have been like, yeah, Dad, I'm two things. I'm gonna be a football player and look at me wear this makeup. He would have been okay.
Yeah,
it would have been fine. I was also raised by a single dad. Wore makeup. It was fine.
But
he dyed my hair for me.
She just wasn't comfortable yet.
I guess. I was like, hey, I want, hey, look, that sign says car wash $1. The sign the other one was holding said $5. Anyway, I was like, I want my hair dyed red. And he was like, you bet. And he dyed my hair for me. Like, he would have been okay with it.
But she just wasn't comfortable.
I guess.
She hid the stuff.
How the hell did she even get makeup? Like, is that some shit her mom left behind as she was running out the fucking door?
Could be. So then you get to the scene we mentioned earlier about the two old guys playing dueling payphones. They call both coaches, tell them that there's a new kid in town, blah, blah, blah. And
rumor has it he's a beast. Now, this kid has been like, I'm thinking mom was just injecting steroids into the umbilical cord.
Well, first you have the race to get there.
Right.
So Kevin's in his Corvette. Danny's in the go-kart.
Can we talk about his Corvette for a second? It has a vanity license plate that says Heisman. How douchey can you get?
I mean, when some people peak, they peak hard.
Like in your little town, everybody knows who you are anyway, and you're driving a red Corvette that's a Heisman license plate. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Douchebag move, but douchebags go douchebag.
I guess. I'm surprised he doesn't wear some, like, bowl game ring through the entire movie.
Maybe he won the Heisman without winning a bowl game.
Oh. He should have made the rest of his team around him better instead of focusing on himself. You're doing the race.
Chase.
Sorry, yeah, I cut you off at the convertible.
So they're stopped at the stop like, hey, what are you doing now? Just
did you mention he's in his convertible and I stopped you? The other one is in the go-kart. Okay.
So Kevin just says he's running some errands. Danny says he's Icebox just asked me to check the compression on them. I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So they're out and they're just keep going the same way. And he's like, you following me? You following me? And then they're like, fuck.
Motherfucker.
So he's mine. So they're racing. There's a train coming and the gates come down on the tracks and Danny slides through with the go-kart before the train comes.
Right.
He gets to Spike's house and Spike's dad's out there. He's like, you must be Coach O'Shea. And he's like, sure.
Yes, I am.
That's true.
No lie, no cap.
So he brings out Spike, and Spike's carrying a fucking refrigerator.
On his back.
Wearing a half shirt, which refrigerators aren't heavy when they're empty. Especially the older.
These kids were supposed to be 10 years old.
Well, he's been training.
His mom.
Since he was born.
His mom was just mainlining protein shakes or something. Like, I don't. Also, no mom in this picture either.
No, I feel like she died to the high levels of testosterone.
That could be. Dad could have very well choked her out and buried her in the backyard, and that's why they had to move to this new town.
Dad probably choked her out and told Spike to bury her.
Yeah. Probably did it with his bare hands.
Probably did it with his teeth. That's why he's got that one silver tooth. So, Spike comes to practice with him. The kids are kind of in awe. Spike's way bigger than they are. Presumably better.
And he's a little douche.
Oh, no, he's a lot douche.
Why does Spike talk in the third person.
Because
Only.
Spike's a lot douche.
He never says, Spike don't play with no girls. I said Spike don't do it. Ooh. Well, okay.
So Spike and Icebox start to go at it, and Jake's like, call 911.
But he keeps saying he's not going to play with a girl. And she's like, I'll lay your ass out, fucker. And the dad steps in, but not really, but kinda takes Spike's side.
He's just trying to ease the tension.
He tells her to go off somewhere for a minute so he can convince him to play with a girl. Fuck that. You gonna let that motherfucker disrespect your daughter? Kick his ass to the fucking curb. You don't need him. You got Devon fucking Sawa. You're fine. God damn.
I feel like he should have been like, hey, Spike, if you're gonna play with us, you're gonna play with Icebox. Because that's the whole fucking reason for this team, right?
Yeah.
So, what happened was a car came up, and he was like, Icebox, will you go handle that and let me talk to Spike here?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, so she
throws her helmet down, she walks out front to get the car or whatever, but I guess she just took off and went to the diner.
So she's sitting at the diner, just pissed off. Uncle Kev comes in. And I needed to take a pause for the cause after Uncle Kev's inspirational speech here. So she opens up to him about how she's having problems and it's not necessarily about football and it could be about other stuff. And she says, Debbie likes Junior, doesn't she? And he's like, I don't know, probably. And she was like, she's gonna get him too. And he says, if you want a guy, you just have to think like a guy. Junior's the quarterback, so he probably wants a hottie, not a teammate. Like, total fucking, I can't tell if he's being honest with her, or if he's just trying to fucking get in her head and psych her out because he knows he has to take her out. But he is her uncle, for God's sake. What the fuck?
That part was a little bit of both. Like, that would benefit him if she quit. And then he had his other one redeeming moment a little bit after. And she's like, he's getting ready to walk out, and she's like, do you think I'm pretty? And he's like, no. I think you're beautiful, and it kind of made her day, right?
It made it a little bit better.
She's young, kind of dumb, and doesn't understand that he just manipulated her.
Like a motherfucker, gaslighted the shit out of her. Let me tell you something, ladies. Don't fucking change yourself for the guy. Like, if you have to change yourself, that's not the guy for you. Like, if old Junior can't like her because she plays football, then Junior's not the fucking person for her. She doesn't need to then go off and do what the fuck she does. Like, fucking, the uncle's a douche. And girls are stupid. Don't be stupid. Be you. Do what you want to do. Be you other than being stupid. If you want to be stupid, don't do that. God. Go ahead.
So I'm watching the movies, part where Spike's at practice and looking at everybody else, but kids are kind of like puppies. They don't look right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, none of these kids have grown into their faces yet.
Right.
Like, Spike's lips are all over the place.
Spike's lips stay like that into adulthood.
All that testosterone.
Yeah.
So, you're at another Little Giants practice, and Kevin shows up with Spike's dad. Spike's dad's like, get in the car, Spike. And he's like, thank God.
Yeah, he's like, you're a cowboy now.
So they leave, and the Little Giants kind of self-destruct.
Well, his dad was like, so you're a Heisman winner, huh? To Danny, and he's like, I never said that. I said I was Coach O'Shea, and I am.
So they're kind of self-destructing because they're losing a good player, even though he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah. Fuck him. You don't need him.
Kids are kind of moping in the little hangout shed they got. Tad's riding his bike down the road going home.
With training wheels.
And a tour bus stops, and out pops John Madden. He needs directions.
To Canton.
So, and Tad's like, first, the way to get through Canton is through this little shed I hang out in.
I find it hard to believe that he knew who John Madden was.
Maybe he watched a lot of TV. Maybe Monday Night Football was his jam.
Does it look like Monday Night Football was his jam?
It might have been. He just, because he was at the football tryouts, right?
Okay.
So, like, you don't have to be good at something to like it, right?
All right. True.
So he's like, hey, guys.
I like football. I play fantasy football. Shareholder of the Packers. Never threw a ball in my life.
So he opens the door. He's like, guys, let's play ball. And then John Madden walks in, and you got 4 NFL players.
Right.
You have Steve Entman, Bruce Smith, Emmett Smith, and Tim Brown.
Good job.
Should I go through? All right, Steve Edmond was a defensive lineman for the Colts. Bruce Smith was a defensive end for Buffalo Bills. Emmitt Smith is probably the best-known player of all of them, running back for the Cowboys. And Tim Brown was a wide receiver, I think, mostly for the Raiders, and he also played for the Bucs.
Right. You're not going to run down John Madden's CV or anything?
No.
Okay.
Monday Night Football. I think he worked for CBS. Coached the Raiders to a Super Bowl.
All right, there you go. I still, wanted you to put some respect on John Madden's name, especially because I really thought he was dead, and I couldn't find the day he died, and I've checked 3 or 4 websites, and I was like, God damn, John Madden alive. Shit. Good for you, boy.
You just canceled the rip?
I did. I was like, shit. Good for you. Did not know.
So you go through each one of the players kind of has like a little session, like the Steve Hammond guys. He's basically just trying to give him confidence a little bit, and he gives Fart Boy, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I don't know.
Zoltag or
Zoltar.
I don't think Zoltar. Zoltak or something.
Zoltan?
Zoltak.
No.
Look at that.
Why are you laughing? Like, how is mine worse than yours? Zoltek.
Told you, Zoltak.
Rudy Zoltek.
So he's lined up across her. He's like, just come at me, hit me. Like, you gotta be confident in yourself. And kid comes at him, knocks him over, gives him a little bit of confidence. Then you got, I think Bruce Smith is the one that was telling him that football is 80% mental and 40% physical.
They were all like, yeah. Wait, fucking what?
And Emmitt Smith's got a group of kids sitting around, and he's telling them, I forgot what he tells them.
He tells them that he wasn't always good either.
Yeah, like, if you work hard at something,
right,
you can be good at whatever you want if you work hard. And then you have Tim Brown, which is he's trying to teach them to intimidate people.
Now, his lessons stuck the hardest with the team. If they took anything away from that day, it was intimidation.
I use these for acid ingestion. So, they thank the guys for coming. Danny, before John Madden gets on the bus, is like, hey, I got kind of a big game tomorrow. You got any advice? And John Madden's like, good luck, and walks off. He's like, wait, that's all you got?
Yeah.
And he's like, you just let these guys do what they do. Let them play.
And presumably, he told him how to get to Canton.
Supposedly. And then you have a weird scene. You got Icebox.
You have, hold on, wait. The kid coach is talking to John Madden because he's giving him props. And he was like, I think we can run this annexation of Puerto Rico play I've been working on, but I'm having trouble. I need you to look at it. And John Madden was like, here's what you do. And they fix it up together. Go ahead.
So then you have Icebox and Junior, and they're talking about kissing.
Icebox and Junior are missing from this pro day situation.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're two of them that could have actually
benefited the most.
Benefited and have enjoyed it. Anyway, okay, go ahead.
And they're talking, they're talking about how it's kind of weird, whatever, and they're talking about practicing on your hand. The problem with practicing on your hand is it doesn't kiss back. Junior's like, I got one friend that said they use their tongues, and they're like, that's all gross and nasty. And then Icebox is talking about, maybe they should practice together, for scientific purposes.
We gotta learn it sometime. And he was like, no, I don't. And she was like, if you want to grow up and have kids and a job, you have to know how to kiss. And he was like, ooh, I can have kids without learning how to kiss. And she's like, but you can't get a job.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what kind of thing she think you do for that job, but I've always just turned in an application.
Firm handshake.
Or
a firm handshake is pretty much the extent of the physical contact I've had during an interview. Might want to learn how to kiss to make those babies, though.
I mean, technically, he's right.
Technically.
But if he's gonna have problems kissing, he's probably gonna have problems sticking his wang in other people's wangs. Boy wang, girl wang.
I've never called
You call them girl wangs all the time?
I call them doodles. The dogs have doodles.
When they stick their tail between their legs, they're the girl wang.
Because it looks like a penis. It's not a girl wang, it's just a wang.
It's just a wang.
A wang and a wang is a docking situation, and that's not how you get babies either. Do you want to Google docking?
No, I don't.
Because go incognito.
I don't think incognito is enough. Now, is that where you put them head to head and wrap the other's foreskin around? See, that's just weird.
It's not something you would do. But if other people enjoy it, that is fine with you.
I kind of think the people who would enjoy it would also find that, like, they're probably like, yeah, we don't all do that.
We might have some docking enthusiasts that are fans. I don't know.
Like, there are better ways.
So she tries to kiss Junior, and he just falls off the boat they're sitting on.
Yeah. And she's like, if I was more like those other girls, you would probably want to practice with me.
She says, if I was a cheerleader, you would want to learn with me. And he says, but you're not. You're cool. Like, bitch, learn to kiss with the girl that's cool. Like, what the fuck?
As you said, the girls were stupid. Little boys are also stupid.
She's cool. You like her. She's awesome. You can hang out with her. Like, what the fuck? Fucking kiss her, Devon!
Devon wasn't having the problem. It was Junior.
Yeah. Also, Devon Sawa in this movie, while everybody else is like 10-ish, he was 15. And it said in a lot of the scenes they didn't put shoes on him so he would be smaller a little bit. And I tried to look. I guess it's never when you see his feet.
Obviously.
Yeah, well, you know.
So then you got old Danny practicing yelling at the refs in the mirror.
Well, you have her, Icebox, leaves that situation and goes to Uncle Kev's house and knocks on the door and asks to speak to Aunt Karen. And he's like, I fucking won. She wants to be a girl. Fucking dick. Go ahead.
So Danny's practicing yelling at the refs. Like, you can't throw me out. Like, just yelling. Icebox comes home with the box. It has the cheerleading outfit in it. Which, it's funny, there was only one group of cheerleaders.
Right.
They are red, white, and blue.
Right.
For the Giant.
It's for America.
But they never cheer for the Cowboys. Anyway, he's like, what's in the box? She's like, oh, it's nothing. He's like, okay, whatever. And
he said, if my little fullback wants it to be a surprise, that's fine by me. And she just fucking loses it.
I feel like the hormones kicked in
there.
Yeah,
that second, yeah.
Like the adolescent.
Yeah.
Like,
she was sexually awakened by Devon Sawa, and now all the hormones are raging. She doesn't know what to fucking do, so she takes it out on her dad and says some real stupid shit. She's like, your little fullback? That's all I am to you? Even though he seems like he's went out of his way his entire life to please her and is only in this situation because of her. She's like, you know what Mom used to call me? She used to tuck me in at night and call me her little princess. And he was like, how do you even fucking remember that? So, like, you're thinking Mom left when she was real young. And she was like, I do. Mom would have never let me play football. Mom wouldn't have let me get into this. I was Mom's princess. And he was like, your mom quit. Your mom quit on us. She was like, no, she didn't.
She found another team. Do you know how mad that had to have made him?
Yeah, I do.
For her mom to do that and then for her to take the mom's side, which, in my opinion, happens a lot. For the simple fact that
the kid takes the mom's side?
Not all the time, but every now and in a high intensity moment where angers and tempers are flaring up, like, the kid they're not old enough, they don't have enough experience, they don't see the bad side of, like, they know that the missing parent's not there, but they don't remember the bad side, they only remember the good thing. So she kind of used that against him there, and it had to have pissed him off.
I'm sure it pissed him off. But you're saying kids usually take the mom's side because the mom's usually the one there?
No. I'm saying in a situation where the parent that's there and the kid are arguing, sometimes the kid will be like, I want to go live with whoever that is not there because they don't see the bad side.
That's just like
I'm just saying some shit to fuck with you.
That's just I'm in front of you right now. The grass is always greener. Yeah. Where I'm not, things would be different there.
Yeah, but the kid doesn't understand that that's not how it is, and that really fucks with the person they're saying it
right.
to.
Like, I grew up with Dad. If you've been listening, you probably noticed we went to a lot of movies. I never really mentioned Mom except for Jurassic Park. But he always told me, he was like, I know when you get older, you're probably going to want to go live with your mom, and that's okay. And I was like, yeah, I don't really think so. He's like, no, you will, and that's fine, and I understand, and I want you to feel bad when it happens, and it's okay. But it didn't happen.
But I feel like he might have also known, like, you gotta give credit to him because a lot of parents would have been like, fuck no, you're not going
Yeah.
to. And then, like, they would have, shit talked the other person. But I feel like he took the high road and he was like, if you want to find out what that's like, you could do that, whatever.
Right.
But
yeah, he did a good job not, like, yeeting her down the fucking staircase in a fit of anger.
No, she goes upstairs and she's angry. She threw the box down and he doesn't really get mad about it because I think he understands her argument.
Yeah.
He gathers up the cheerleading uniform,
folds it, puts it on her
nightstand, tucks her in.
Yeah.
And I guess they never really show it, but when she wakes up, like, she's got to see that it's there. It's like, I can do this. He's okay with it.
Right.
So then we got like a montage of all the kids like trying to pump themselves up and work out the night before the game.
Right.
So you got Hayden's like working out with his dad. He's like, "Come on, Dad, fire it in there!" And he drops. There's all these balls on the ground. He's dropping every single.
He is eternally optimistic, though. Like he keeps trying. He has the stick-to-itiveness that I have never seen happen in a 10-year-old child. But Daddy needed to take him to Dick's Sporting Goods and get some fucking receiving gloves.
He needed receiving gloves and he needed some tough stuff. Now, and this pisses me off to this day. When we
we're about to talk about the Pitt tough, or was it
VT?
The VT pouring the rain tough stuff memory, because I also had that exact same thought.
We were playing VT at VT in Blacksburg, obviously. It is just pouring the rain. Like, usually you can see that the field's wet, the players are wet. Like, you can see, like, the rain in the cameras. Just pouring the rain. They cut to the sidelines, and these dudes are just spraying their gloves with tough stuff. Tough stuff is... what it was originally used for is when they tape your ankles, your knees, elbows, whatever, there is a foam layer that can go down. But you spray tough stuff on your skin and that foam just sticks to the skin. And you can spray the tough stuff on the foam and the foam will seal to itself.
Right.
Then you can put the tape over it.
It's sticky.
There might have been another use for it before, but that's what we always used it for. To get that stuff to stay. Because if you just straight up tape something... other than your fingers, like trying to rip that shit off hurts.
Right.
So you got the foam layer, tough stuff, put the tape on, you're good. They are spraying this on their hands, and it's to where you stick, kind of like where he had that firm grip stuff that he had hands full of in the game. Like, it's the stick to it. I was like, that blatant cheating.
The internet's calling it spray stickum, but either way, same story. Virginia Tech's a pack of cheaters, and you should never go there.
Yep.
But he needed that, or at least some gloves.
Yeah.
At least.
So you got Jake is like flexing in the mirror with his little bony ass. He's just like, ah!
He's practicing his intimidation.
And it's like little like Mr. Olympia poses.
He looks like if a fly landed on him, it would break his bones.
You got Marcus, he's putting on the eye black. And, the first time we show him, he's got it under his eyes. And he's making the face. And then they move on. But when they come back to this eye black is just covering his entire face. So he is getting very close.
That's what that review is talking about.
He's getting very close to blackface in it. But he was just a little kid playing with the eye black.
Right.
And he never really covers up his whole face, but you can tell he puts the left on, he puts the right on, and then he had some on his forehead, his cheeks, he starts just coloring it in, and luckily they stopped before he got to the finished product.
Poor Johnny. His dad is just packing up his briefcase to leave again. He's like, I'll be back in a few days. Johnny's just beside himself.
So you got Far Boy, old Zyrtec.
Zortek.
Old Zyrtec.
Not Zyrtec.
The allergy relief. His parents tuck him in, they kiss him, and they're like, don't even think about football. He's like, oh, I'm not. He pulls his blankets out, but he's got his cleats on. They got grass and dirt
everywhere. Mom is going to shit herself.
Little rad Tad's doing chin-ups, and he's like, 1, 2, and then he moves over and he grabs his wrist so one-handed. 1, 3, 4. And then it pans down to show his whole body as he's doing this. He's got like a trash can stacked on top of books or another box, and he's just using his legs to do it.
It's got to make the arms look good.
You go back. I think they cut back to Jake a few times in his poses and just grunting and yelling. And then it's game day.
Right. So they're in the locker rooms. It shows the Cowboys team first in the locker room, and they have a priest who's going to pray for them. In the middle of the prayer, you just hear
a bunch of heathens on the Little Giants.
Bunch of shit happening.
Making a bunch of ruckus.
But it is phase 1 of intimidation.
Yes.
Because they can hear them through the vent, so they're like, watch this shit. So they're like banging their helmets and screaming and
they
yelling.
just start shit talking Spike. Nobody but Spike. They're just laying into Spike.
Which it seems like a bad idea because, again, little child is on steroids. He is a grown fucking man among 10-year-olds.
There's like, Icebox gonna eat you alive. She's gonna lay you out, blah, blah, blah. And
Cut to
Icebox in the cheerleading uniform, and everybody just, the whole room just went dead.
She comes in her cheerleading outfit, and she's like, I just want to wish y'all luck. Junior looks fucking appalled that she is in this cheerleading outfit. Like, he doesn't look, the other kids are like, oh, we're gonna get our fucking shit pounded in here.
It's like, they're gonna kill us.
But he is just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, did I fucking do this shit to you? Like, what the hell? And yes, you did do this shit to her. So
everybody's like, we're dead. They're gonna kill us. We don't have Icebox. They're gonna kill us. And the coach is like, hey guys, it's okay. Here's your uniforms.
Yeah, look at our uniforms. They look great.
Tad's like, death shrouds.
He's like, but they have your name on them and everything.
And Jay goes, yeah, so the morgue can identify the bodies.
Possibly my favorite part of the movie.
So then you have the runouts before the game. The Giants, or the Cowboys are all pumped up. They look like a normal team. They're getting all jacked up. And I don't remember what Coach Kevin O'Shea says. He holds up the football. He's like, it's not just football, it's life.
I think so.
Something like that. And they all run out of their banner, run out on the field, and the Giants come out, and Rick... I did the same thing.
I wrote Rick down 1,000 times.
O'Shea holds the football up. He's like, it's just football. It's not life. It's just a game.
He said, it's just pig intestines.
It's just air and pig intestines. Or laces and pig intestines. I was like, that's wrong. So the little Giants go to run out, but they can't break the banner.
Right.
And old little Jake gets mad. He's like, I can't see with this thing on.
His helmet, yeah.
So then you get to the coin toss.
Right.
So
they're letting old Kev pick, but they just start having like a brotherly argument. But the PA is still on, so everybody can hear their fucking argument.
Danny snatches the coin out of there. He's like, why does he get to pick?
Right.
Why don't I get to pick? Whatever. Well, they got a hot mic on. They're having a little back and forth argument like siblings do. And basically... Danny's just airing out all of his grievances. All of it. And all this bad shit that
you
Kevin
stole my
did.
ticket, you did this, you did that.
Kevin doesn't deny any of it. And the whole crowd's like, this son of a bitch.
Yeah, they're kind of getting a little, hey, you can win a Heisman Trophy and be a dick, O.J. Simpson.
So they end up betting their businesses on it. The car dealership versus the gas station. I think as they're about to kick off, one of the little Johns is like, help us, God. So they're about to kick off. Jake is like getting out his inhaler and trying to like wiggle it through the face mask and take a puff off of it. I guess they don't have a tee, so the Giants are going to kick off, and little Johnny's holding the ball, and Marcus just kicks him right in the nuts. Yeah. And the announcer's like, oh, he's holding about a pound of Aunt Betty's nut butter.
Yeah, poor fella. Later, I'm assuming he probably has a cup inside, but he also has a cup on the outside. Later when he kicks the ball for a field goal.
Yeah.
He has like multiple cups on and holding his nuts like a soccer player.
In that scene, he's just crying. And he's doing the cadence. He's calling out, when to hike the ball. He's like, ready? Set? So the Cowboys get the ball. I think there's a cheap shot and Spike scores. But what I noticed in that scene is the ref isn't wearing like normal ref pants. The ref is wearing football pants and high socks.
Did not notice anything about the ref.
Because they weren't like short white pants. They had the knee pad pockets with no knee pads and the elastic underneath it was hanging loose.
You gotta get what you got, man.
I mean, they spent $20 million on this movie. You'd think they could have bought normal fucking pants.
Did you fucking do some research?
I just scrolled down a little bit.
I'll be a son of a bitch.
And then once I saw that, I was like, I better stop before I see the tomatometer.
Man.
So, 7-0. Junior's trying to call play in the little Giants huddle. And everybody's like, what's the three little pigs? And he's like, all right. And one of the kids lifts up his shirt. And they got all the plays drawn on this kid's stomach. Yeah. They're like, this one here.
Yeah, it's an interesting...
So they give the ball to Tad, and he he runs, and then he sees people about to tackle him, so he runs backwards. He's just running around the ref going, blow the whistle, blow the whistle. And they don't get any yards.
No, they do not. You do not see him get creamed, but from the coach's face, you know it was a pretty good one.
Cowboys end up scoring again. 14-0 Cowboys. Hayden, like, I got to do something. He grabs this jar of, it's called, in the movie, it just said Firm Grip. Mm-hmm. It looks like pine tar or some type of oil. He grabs 2 handfuls and just takes it with him. And he's just like, he's got this stuff, it's on his hands. He sticks his hands together, and then he realizes he can't get them apart, so he keeps trying. Then he sticks it to his jersey.
They're like, we're going to throw it to you. You got to get it. He's like, no problem. But then as they all clap, he claps too, and they stick together. And he's like, oh, big fucking problem. Big fucking problem.
And it kind of looks like he's going to get it. He keeps working his hands farther and farther apart.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like he's going to get this ball, but he doesn't. He gets hit in the beaten in the back of the head because he's not looking. So one of the kids yells, I think it's Spike. He looks at Jake, and he's like, I'm going to rip your head off. And Jake's like, just starts wiggling, and he wiggles his head out of his helmet and down into his shoulder pads.
Like a little turtle.
And Spike clotheslines him and takes his helmet with him, and he's like, I can't see what it's saying. Oh. And 21-0 at the half for the Cowboys.
Old Spike needed to be stopped. Like,
old Spike got some anger issues.
What the fuck?
So, they're in the locker room.
Spike didn't have a happy life, didn't have a happy home.
Does it look like Spike had a happy home?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think Spike had a happy home, and I think that's...
So, they're going into the locker room at halftime, and Kevin's like, hey, Danny, let's just call this thing off. You know.
Your guys have had enough punishment. He's like, no, it's only halftime. He walks into the locker room. His kids done took their shirts off, their jerseys off. They're like, we're done. Tell them we're not coming back out there.
And one of the kids like, just put us on the injured list. And that's when Danny's, you can see him kind of deflate
triggered.
So he sits down and he starts giving a speech. He's like, when I was 10 years old, I put myself on the injured list and I never came off of it.
Right.
He's like, I hid behind the bleachers, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, but this, one of the kids is like, you can't beat your brother in anything. And he's like, this one time I beat my brother racing down Cherry Hill. And one's like, you beat Kevin O'Shea down Cherry Hill? And they all get kind of excited. And then it starts this whole chain reaction
stories.
Of one time I did this. One time I did this. But every time somebody had a story about their brothers or somebody else, like, oh, you did that to so-and-so?
Yeah.
You beat so-and-so throwing cow patties?
But he's a Marine!
I was like, how old is your brother?
So they're all talking about their stories, and they're like, he's like, so we could go out there, and 99 times we could lose, but just one time, and they're like, we could win. So they're all inspired.
They all come out of the locker room fired up.
Full intimidation mode.
Oh, yeah.
Full intimidate mode. Fuck you.
So they come out, beginning of third quarter, they get the ball, they gained a yard.
Kevin says something about this is my field, and Danny's like, yeah, but it's our ball. We got the ball. Yeah. And they gain a yard. It is 2nd and 9. And you would have thought they had already won the game.
You thought they won the Super Bowl. The crowd went nuts.
Yeah.
They went nuts. And that was like the second it snapped for Kevin's like, it's just 1 yard. It's just one fucking yard.
Oh, yeah. He's chewing the hell out of that gum.
So they run a flea flicker. They run Johnny's play, right?
No, Tad scores first.
They're on a flea flicker to Junior, and he gets like 40 yards. So then, like, Junior's in the huddle, and he's like, what are they not going to expect us to do? Tad's like, reverse to me? They're like, fuck it, let's do it. So they reverse it to Tad, and they're like, Tad gets the ball, and he gets kind of scared, and they're like, run! And he goes to the sideline, and he ducks. 2 of the Cowboys jump over him and hit the Gatorades, and he's like, whew, like, basically didn't die, and then the coach Dane's like, run, Tad, run, and he runs, he scores.
Right. Now, this is when Spike...
But Tad's got the jukes, though. Because he did the old Lamar Jackson at the 10-yard line. He was running. He's about to get lit up, and he just stopped.
Yeah.
And then they all just ducked past him. So he scores.
This is when Spike's dad takes Spike aside and was like, we can't be doing this. You take Junior out of the game, or you're donating your kidney to Aunt Shirley, or who the fuck ever.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay. So the next play...
Hold on. Right before that, it's 21-7. That's when old Johnny the Holder had the cup on the outside, and he's just like crying
for
the cadence.
For the
and
extra
the
point.
dude kicks the ball. It hits the crossbar, but it goes over.
It goes over.
So it's good.
It's good.
And that's when Spike Dad tells him to take the cheap shot.
So the next play, Junior's already down, and he gets back up, and Spike hits him in the back. So dirty, late hit, throw the flag, knocks Junior out of the game for a little bit. Spike walks by, winks, and gives old Icebox the finger guns.
Oh, she's
and
pissed.
She mad. But, and I'm assuming this is your other only redeeming moment for old Uncle Kevin.
He's like, don't fucking do that shit. He's like, I thought you wanted to win the game. He's like, I do, but not that way.
Yeah, like he was really mad. And then Icebox comes out, cheerleading skirt, football jersey, pads, helmet, and Spike says, like, what the hell's she doing?
Spike's dad
Was like, who the hell is that? And he was like, that's my niece, and she's pissed off.
He's basically like, thanks, dude.
Yeah, you fucked up. Way to hit her boyfriend, jackass.
Icebox fucking zones in on Spike, and as Spike has the ball, she takes his legs out, he flips over, and he fumbles.
Yeah.
Oh,
and the little
pissed.
tiny kid gets the ball.
Oh, he's pissed. So Giants have the ball again. So Danny sees Johnny's dad like trying to rush into the field. He's coming down at the one end zone, and he's at the end zone that the little Giants are trying to get to.
Right.
He's like, hey, I need you to call, what do you call it?
I knew you
Flea
were going to
flicker to Johnny. So Johnny's like,
Not
no,
Johnny.
Not Johnny.
You can't do it to Johnny. I'm Johnny.
Somebody tells Zyrtec to, Johnny's going to need some running room.
Right.
So he goes up there. He's like, I have a real problem. Remember what I had for lunch today. I need y'all to smell. He turns around, he farts, and everybody kind of takes a few steps back.
Right.
They hike the ball, and they do it to Johnny. Johnny sees his dad.
Well, he was like, now what do I do? Because he has the ball.
Oh, yeah.
And Icebox is like, run to him. He sees Dad, and he just doesn't stop. He's hurdling people and shit.
So he makes it to Dad, 21-14 in favor of the Cowboys. They're coming back. Spike says something about Jake's mom, and he's like, don't you be talking about my mama. And the next play, Jake fucking lays Spike out.
Yeah, he does.
Like, he fucking, perfect form tackle in the gut. Spike probably got beat for letting that little kid do that.
But that's when his mom also loses her shit,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like, she goes from, like, a little dainty mom to, like, a football mom. Yeah, it's my boy. Fucking rip his head off. Yeah!
So now here's where they go Super Saiyan with the intimidation tactic. They all pull out little Alka-Seltzer tablets, and Jake's like, I use these for acid indigestion.
They're like, what are we going to use them for?
Intimidation.
So they all line up, and they're just foaming at the fucking mouth.
So the Cowboys have the ball, but they do this whole foam trick, and they're just like grunting and letting the foam come out, and everybody's just kind of off put by it. And when the ball's hiked, it looks like they called the play in Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah.
Like it was just one big mess of people, and the play ended. So the Giants get the ball back. They call Silver Streak to Hayden, which you basically, it's going to be verticals to Hayden. He's got to catch this fucking ball. He's not going to catch it.
Right.
He fucking catches it because while it's in air, he imagines that it's toilet paper.
Right.
So he basically envisioned it happening and made it come true. 21-all.
He figured out what he needed to do.
21-all with 4 seconds left?
4 seconds.
So
No.
Coach
4
Danny's
seconds is later. Because right here they have to stop the Cowboys. They have to stop them.
Oh, yeah.
So Kevin's trying to run this trick play.
It's not really a trick play, but...
Whatever. Patty comes down from the stands and was like, hey, do you remember when he...
When he won, he got the winning touchdown against whatever. He got the 38 toss. She comes down, tells Danny, and he's like, oh, time out.
Right.
So he basically, he tells his kids what's up. They know exactly what to do. They know Spike's hitting the ball. But they're getting ready to run the play, and that's when old Coach Kev realized, he's like, they know the fucking play.
The line shifts, and he's like, God damn it.
He's like, they know the play. And I thought he would call it.
Nope.
But he doesn't. Spike gets lit up.
They stop it. So now the Giants have the ball with 4 seconds left to go, and it's time for the annexation of Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Well, the Coach James was like, all right, you guys done it. We hung with them. And they're like, but we can win.
Yeah. So they go.
They got like
They got the eye of the tiger now.
They got the bloodlust. Like we can fucking kill them now.
So Junior's gonna come back in. They're gonna run the annexation of Puerto Rico with 4 seconds left to go. Take it away.
So they didn't have a halfback, and what John Madden had them do is basically a bunch of fuckery. They trick them. So the ball gets hiked to Junior. Junior slyly sets the ball down on the ground behind the center. Center's a larger kid, so nobody sees it. But as he's doing it, he's running back and he hands it off to their running back. The running back goes out to Icebox for the reverse. They reverse the ball. Meanwhile, she's running out to the sidelines, distracting everybody. Center picks up the ball. Zyrtec starts trotting down the field. Spike
slowly.
Spike, it does take a few hours for that Zyrtec to kick in. Spike
lays Icebox out.
He's like, what does he say? No
chance or something.
No chance. And she's like, no ball. And he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
And he turns around and old boy's just trotting down the field. He's about to get tackled and he just tosses it backwards.
Right.
I forget what kid catches it then. That kid runs around a little bit. Then he tosses it backwards to Jake. Jake fucking flies in the end zone for the win.
So, the game-winning play at the end of the movie inspired Michigan State Spartan coach Mark D'Antonio to make a similar one, faking a field goal for a touchdown in their match against Notre Dame in 2010, bringing them to a 34-31 victory rather than a 31-31 tie that would have brought the game into a second overtime. After the game, D'Antonio said, "By the way, the name of that play is Little Giants." It happened again in December of 2011 when the Carolina Panthers called the play to fullback Richie Brockle, and he scored on a 7-yard run. The Panthers won 28-13. Ironically, the play itself would later be banned in Pee Wee and Pop Warner football, but not at the higher levels. And the Panthers said that play was called the annexation of Puerto Rico.
So Little Giants win. I don't guess they kicked the field goal because they were out of time, didn't have to. They win 27-21. Game over. So in a weird set of events, the Cowboys players, led by Spike, start clapping, which would not have fucking happened.
Not at all.
Spike would have been a little bitch about the whole thing.
Oh,
He'd
yeah.
have been throwing a tantrum. His
Huge
dad
tantrum.
was probably beating him. He's beating his dad. His dad's beating him.
Kids like that don't make a transformation that quickly. Like, he would have ran over there and grabbed old Icebox by the hair and beat her face into the ground or something. Like, that's unrealistic.
Gatorade buckets and water coolers everywhere aren't safe anymore. But the Little Giants are celebrating.
So Junior and Icebox are like holding hands, jumping, celebrating. And they stop and they kind of look in each other's eyes for a minute and then like, no. And they just start jumping again. But then Patty, Junior's mom, comes out of the stands and her and Danny do a little kissy kiss.
Well, he's like, would you like to go to dinner with me sometime? And she's like, slurping that face up. And he's like, well, if you need to take some time to think about it.
Yeah.
But how weird is it for the father to date the mom of the son that the daughter wants to date? Like,
I mean, he met Patty first. Yeah, it's all weird.
Like, that's a incestual gray area, right? Like, if they become a blended family, it's definitely wrong.
Right, yeah. They become, yeah. Would also be wrong for...
As of right now, it's just in that gray area, like, oh, that's cute. And then you're like, oh, this has the potential to be grotesque.
Now, if Patty and Danny get married, would it also be grotesque for Junior to date Debbie?
That's another gray area. I would feel like no. Like
if they get married, then they're like step cousins, I guess.
Yeah, that's definitely a no-no.
I feel like if you attend the same family reunion or the same Christmas dinner, it's a bad look.
Yes, you do not meet dates at family functions.
Right. So Kevin's like, hey man, you're not going to hold me to that whole dealership thing, right? Like, you're not going to take my car dealership. And he was like, oh, who would I be to leave my brother out high and dry? There'll always be a place for you at O'Shea Chevrolet.
Danny O'Shea.
We're going to start you at sales associate and get you on some commission. You can work your way up. He was like, seriously, man, come on. Like, you can't do this to me. He's like, there is something I want. And he has him change the water tower to the O'Shea brothers like he promised in the beginning.
He should have took the dealership.
I'd have took the fucking dealership. Fuck you and your family.
He should have took half the dealership.
He should have took the dealership. He should have took the wife. He should have took everything. Fuck that guy. Piece of shit.
He should have at least taken half the dealership.
He should have had to sold his Heisman Trophy to make ends meet.
Damn. Going dark on it.
He said some horrible shit to Icebox.
Yeah.
Made her question her self-worth as a person. Made her change who she was so she could have a chance with this guy. Fuck him. He's supposed to be her uncle, and he's gonna fucking be the fucking football coach before he's her uncle. He can eat a fucking double-decker dick sandwich.
And that's the end of the movie.
You saw that its budget was $20 million. Did you see what it made at the box office?
Like 19 point something?
Yeah, 19.3. But I feel like even though it didn't technically make its money back at the box office, it's really become a cult classic, right?
Yeah,
like
a
cult classic to the
money.
point that I incepted myself. And I was like, yeah, I've totally seen Little Giants. And now I'm watching it and I was like, I haven't fucking seen this shit.
So you thought you saw it, but you're 100% sure you haven't.
I've not seen it. I believe it is so similar to other things. Like, in The Sandlot, there's also the little kid wrapped, like he's wrapped in bubble wrap. This kid's wrapped in foam. Like, I think I just convinced myself I saw it.
Maybe you saw clips. Like,
maybe. I mean, there was no internet, but I'm sure I saw, like, some Devon Sawa shit at some point.
The Alka-Seltzer and Little Jake is probably my favorite parts of this whole movie.
Right. So do you want to take a stab at the...
Tomatometer?
Do you think people who are just tuning in wonder what the fuck that is?
The tomatometer?
That is the Rotten Tomatoes tomatometer. Alright.
I was unspoiled. I liked the movie, so I'm going to say the critics hated it.
The critics hated it. The critics gave it a 36%.
Wow. I wouldn't have gone that low.
Yeah. What do you think the audiences did?
I would say better, maybe 60.
63.
Wow.
Now I usually read the Rotten Tomatoes critics consensus at this point, but this is the first movie I've ever seen this happen. There is no consensus.
The consensus was they hated it.
Well, since there was no consensus, I screenshotted a clip of a review of Roger Ebert. He was, the critic of our time. Working in 2 platoons, the 4 screenwriters have skillfully removed all vestiges of originality from this story and turned in a perfectly honed retread of every other movie about how a team of losers wins the big game.
You can't argue against it.
Right. Which I kind of think maybe what happened with me. Like, I just thought I saw it because I saw, like, The Sandlot and The Mighty Ducks and, all of the other ones. So now it's time for
Ratchet Reviews.
Okay, guys, I am not going to read this full review, but I will post a link on our accompanying blog on our website, runitbackpodcast.com. 1 star. Look, this sucks, but instead of dissecting it in great length, I'm going to post my college paper here, analyzing the coaching styles of these 2 characters. So enjoy. And then they did that. They copied and pasted some, sports psychology paper they wrote about the coaching style of the 2 people in this movie. I'm not going to read it. It's fucking long. It's a goddamn college paper, but I will share a link if you so need a sports psychology paper.
Did you read?
I glanced.
Is it garbage or is it just breaking down?
It's like sports psychology 101.
Danny's a player's coach. Kevin's
an asshole. It's like psychology 101 for sure. Like, it's not a higher level class.
Oh.
Sorry, Jose. 2 stars. Baseball is not football. This movie is not The Sandlot. Just as giant meatheads butt heads on Sundays, this movie butts heads with a giant brick wall. The other side of said wall being a compelling story.
They just hate it. It seemed like they really like The Sandlot.
It sounds like they really like The Sandlot.
They don't want people who don't enjoy baseball to have a similar movie.
Yeah. They also seem like they really don't like football at all.
Then don't watch the fucking movie.
Right? Like giant meatheads on Sunday.
Like, if I didn't watch football, there wouldn't be This is probably the second football movie on this thing.
At least.
And there's at least 6 more that I can think of that I'm trying to space out so nobody gets tired of.
Right. 1.5 stars. A 10-year-old might find The Little Giants stupid. An 8-year-old may only find it sheepishly bad. Still, it's good to see Al Bundy and Rick Moranis getting work.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
I just don't understand. Like, you have to make an account and sign up with your email just to shit talk things. Yeah. And I don't understand it. Like,
I think 10-year-olds and 8-year-olds generally liked Little Giants.
Like a long time ago. It
was who it was made for.
Yeah. A long time ago, I swore off M. Night Shyamalan movies. But I didn't go to, like, all the forums and, like, sing to the heavens about it. Like, it's not for me. I understand people like it. There are some movies that I do still like. There's one I didn't know that he had made Sixth Sense.
Every now and then you're like...
I still like that.
Every now and then you're like, I want to see that movie. And I'm like, M. Night Shyamalan made it, and I'm not fucking going with you because are you introduced, bitch? Really, you like a lot of his movies. You just don't like...
Do you think...
What was it called?
The Village?
The Village. The Village. You like his other movies. You like The Sixth Sense. You like The Happening. You want to see a bunch of his other shit. There's other stuff you like. You just don't like The Village enough that it pissed you off forever.
Now, I'm willing to concede this, and we'll probably have to watch the movie again. Do you think that I am mad at The Village the same way you are mad at the end of the first season of Westworld?
Yes.
So do you think I actually think it's good?
Yes.
We're going to have to rewatch the movie.
I think The Village is living rent-free in your head.
All right, people. Okay, this is another thing people need to get over. I am willing to change my mind on M. Night Shyamalan. I have talked a bunch of shit about it, but I'll have to watch the movie.
All right.
But you're allowed to change your mind if you are presented with better facts.
Right. I'm going to rip this person apart now, okay?
Okay. That looks like a short one. How much?
One star. This movie sucked in the 90s and still sucks. Rick Moranis also sucks. But I just found out that Becky O'Shea is now a hot chick. Listen here, Fred. If you don't want Becky O'Shea when she's fucking Icebox, then you can't have fucking Becky O'Shea when she's a hottie in 2020. You know what I'm saying.
That's a great
I'm not saying when she's 10. I'm saying if you don't want old Becky O'Shea at her worst, you can't have her at her best. If you can't have her when she's playing football with eye black on, then you can't have her in heels and a push-up bra either, you fucking piece of shit. I want y'all to know at home, I leaned in for that.
They could probably tell.
Probably. So this one is 5 stars, but I found it funny. Okay, yeah, go ahead. I just assumed you agreed with me.
I do, but I feel like it's a weird thing. Like, you can't base people off what they look like when they're 10 years old.
Yeah. Oh, she's hot now. The fuck? Are you so surprised just because she played football in this movie? Because she has brown hair? So this one is 5 stars, but I thought it was funny. One of my favorite movies from my childhood. Icebox, aka Man Beast, is cut from Kevin O'Shea's football squad after outperforming all the other kids. The problem is, Icebox is a girl, and Coach O'Shea is her uncle. Icebox exacts her revenge by forcing her loser dad to start his own team full of losers, so Icebox can end Uncle Kev once and for all. The only obstacle in her way are Spike, Coach O'Shea's secret weapon, and Junior, the super hunk that gets her juices flowing. This movie is the shit. 90s sports movies for kids is one of the greatest movie eras of all time. All killer, no filler. Plus, you gotta love a good underdog story. If you don't, you're not human and you suck. Gets her juices flowing.
Do you think Devon Sawa's wife is upset or proud of the fact that of the amount of teenage girls that he has sexually awoken? If I remember correctly at the beginning, I think you used the terms sexually awoken.
Probably. I feel like when you marry somebody who was on the cover of Teen Beat every fucking week, you know what you're signing up for.
But like every now and then, do you think she's just like, oh, these people? Because he's got to get it all the time. Like the Twitter,
Oh, there are
Instagram.
some extra thirsty bitches on Twitter. But also, every now and then, I feel like he enjoys it. Like, every now and then, I feel like he'll be having a bad day, so he'll just throw up, like, a shirtless picture and just, like, sit the fuck back and listen to all the tweets come in. But then there's these, like, extreme social justice warriors who are like, which I'm very liberal too, so don't come at me for that, who are like, I can't believe you would objectify him in this way. He has a wife. It's like, yeah, and he threw the shirtless picture up. He knew exactly what he did. Like, he did that on fucking purpose.
Yeah, and a lot of porn stars have spouses too, but you don't see people coming to their defense when people...
Yeah, like, people get so upset when somebody says, he has a wife, you're nasty. He knew exactly what he was doing. Like, he did, like, he'll put some kind of caption, like some thirst trap kind of caption up. It's like, he fucking knew, like, that's what he intended.
But it's gotta feel good when you hear, like, when you have all this praise coming in, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
So you gotta enjoy it while you can.
Right. I think his wife, because he talks about her every now and then, I think she's over the fact that he was a teen heartthrob. And I think he probably is a little bit too, but I think he also still enjoys it.
So she's not like one of these crazy jealous people who's coming at him for like some rando on Twitter?
No, I wouldn't think so. But also, his kid's fucking adorable. The little boy is going to look exactly like him. I've never seen a cuter girl in my entire life. Like, adorable. They had fucking rescued this beagle or this basset hound that had been abused, and like it wouldn't come anywhere near him, and like over the months they gained its trust, and now it lays with him, and it's so sweet, and I love its little fucking fluffy, and they have a pug. They're a perfect fucking family. I mean, they all are about to fucking get the fuck out of here and go to Canada, and I can't fucking blame them a bit, but perfect fucking family.
You have any more reviews?
How did we get here? Oh, does his wife get aggravated? I think you know what you sign up for. I like to talk about casting that could have been. The original leads were cast as Gary Busey and Randy Quaid.
As the two coaches?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, not as fucking Icebox. Like, what the fuck are you thinking?
Who's the loser?
I'm not sure. I think Gary Busey was probably Kevin.
Gary Busey probably is taller.
Was probably Kevin, because you're thinking Gary Busey now after the motorcycle accident and crazy as shit. But like Gary Busey back in the day was just kind of like that.
I don't know.
And then I'm figuring Randy Quaid was like Rick Moranis.
I feel like they definitely did better this way.
So this movie was inspired by an early 1990s McDonald's Super Bowl commercial about Pee Wee football. The day after it aired, Steven Spielberg called the ad's creator, James Ferguson, and hired him to write the script.
That's weird.
He said, like, Ferguson said he came in the next day and there was a note on his desk from his secretary that Steven Spielberg called. And he was like, yeah, fucking right, whatever. But it had a number to his production company. And when he called, the Spielberg secretary was like, oh my God, I've been trying to get a hold of you forever.
Okay. If I have a secretary, receptionist, or somebody who works with me, and Steven fucking Spielberg calls, and you don't call me at home?
Yeah.
Like, I know this was
early
so
90s.
This movie didn't come out till 1994. So this is before that. So maybe there's no cell phones. You call the house phone. You call somebody to get a hold of me. Like, hey, Steven Spielberg's trying to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
And you're you don't wait till Monday morning. Like, oh yeah, you got to know Steven Spielberg's trying. What the fuck did you just say?
Yeah. But it is weird that they hired an ad executive to write a fucking movie, which is possibly why they went through 4 screenwriters.
But that person came up with the original story, so they probably had more insight
now,
to
they
how
said that the original story was going to be that this game was every year, and it was these coaches' entire life, and it was going to focus more on the coaches. But it then became, as they hired more people, this story more about the kids.
That'd be a completely different movie.
A completely different movie. You got anything else before I do the rips? So, John Stever died in 2018 at the age of 33. He was Johnny. the little kid whose dad left all the time. Mary Ellen Trainor died in 2015 at the age of 62. She was Karen O'Shea. Harry Fleer died in 1994. He was 78, and he was Orville, who was one of the old men. And Dabbs Green died in 2007 at the age of 90, and he was the other old man making the call to the other coach. So, we didn't do our reviews. Duh. What do you give it?
Well, it's my movie, so you go first.
Oh, that doesn't seem altogether fair, does it?
That's how it works.
I'll give it a 3.5.
I'd go with a 4.
Yeah, I was debating 3.5 or 4, but yeah, it was a good movie. I liked it. I'm clearly not wrapped up in nostalgia because I can't remember ever seeing it.
I find that hard to believe. A Devon Sawa movie you hadn't seen?
A Devon Sawa movie about a girl who liked sports that grew up with her dad?
Yeah.
Who liked Devon Sawa? Like fucking Taylor goddamn Made, eh?
Eh?
Yeah. I'm fucking going to Canada too. This is about to be a shit show.
Oh, we didn't do the what the fuck moment of the movie.
Oh, I wasn't prepared.
My what the fuck moment of the movie was the beginning. Like, he doesn't fucking pick Icebox to be on the team.
My what the fuck moment of the movie is that he had a moment in the diner to be sweet Uncle Kevin and tell his niece to be all she can be, and instead decides to be douchebag Coach O'Shea and tell her to change everything about herself.
True. They kind of fit. They kind of mesh together, though. Is that it?
I think so. Next week, we're going to do 3 Ninjas.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
Me too, but I feel like I used to watch it a lot.
Does that have Chris Farley in it?
No,
that was Beverly Hills Ninja.
No, not at all. 3 Ninjas are about the 3
kids.
little kids whose grandpas, they protect the house. And parents don't believe the grandpa.
I mixed Beverly Hills Ninja in there.
Apparently.
All right, that's been
vastly different movies.
All right, that's been Run It Back for Little Giants. I'm Jason.
I'm Sarah. Check out our website, runitbackpodcast.com. You can find all of our podcasts there, links to subscribe on your favorite podcast networks. All of the social media app links are there. Our blog is there as well. There's an accompanying blog with every movie where I will post that lady's sports psychology paper about this movie. If you like us, please share us with your friends. And if you hate us, please share us with your enemies.
I use these for acid indigestion.